Hello students, today we'll discuss design of steel structures, and today's topic is designing of lacing. Right? Basically, we have two type of lacing system. One is single lacing, which you can see from this diagram. This is single lacing, and another is double lacing. Right? If we have this kind of system, this is known as lacing. This is uh, phase A and this is phase B, right? Phase is not important. Important is this is single lacing, and if this kind of shoelace kind of setting is there, then it is known as double lacing, right? First, today we will discuss single lacing, right? So I'll discuss it with an example, right? How to design this lacing bar. Actually, this is your column A, column B, right? And if these columns are to be placed in front of each other with some distance in between, then these columns will be provided by this lacing system so that it will act as a single unit, right? So we basically design the spacing between these this these two lacing bars, the dimension of this lacing bars, and the connection, which is done by riveting here and here, right? So, and what is the angle between this? What should be the angle? Kind of. So we will discuss with the example, right? We have an example, a built-up compression member having effective length of 6 meter and carrying an axial compressive load of 1000 kilonewton. So we need to design the member using single lacing system and double lacing. In this video, I will discuss single lacing system, and in the next video, you will find the solution for double lacing system. So first of all, we need to calculate the effective length. Effective length is given. As you can see, the effective length is 6 meter. So the effective length is given as 6 meter. The total applied load is 1000 kilonewton as given in the question. So we need to provide the lacing. So we need to have two channel sections back to back. So let us take two channel sections back to back. Hence, assume slenderness ratio as 50. Right? We assume the slenderness ratio as 50. So what we need to do first. Therefore, the permissible compressive stress from table 5.1 of IS code, right? You need to check the IS code. So for mild steel, we have yield stress, that is Fy is 250 N, right? So according to this table, we can calculate sigma AC, means axial compressive stress, that would be 132 megapascal, right? So therefore, the gross area required for the channel would be force upon stress, right? The force was 1000 kilonewton, right? And divided by 132 will give you 7576 mm square. So this much of area is required for this column, right? We should now we need to check to the code, right? From that code, you need to pick a channel section according to this area, whichever is nearer to this area, you will take that section. So I will take ISMC 300 at 35.8 kg per meter. Please remember this area, you need to check for this area, right? But this is the overall area, right? Overall area means the we need to provide two column back to back, so this area is for two column. We will divide it by 2 and get the approximate area of a single column, and according to that we get this ISMC 300. You should always provide a higher section, right? So the gross area for each section would be somewhere around 4564. This is for at ISMC 300, right? So if we take the total to area of two column, that would be 9128, right? It is approximately very much nearer about 277576. So we will take this much area, right? So the lambda slenderness ratio would be L effective upon R minimum. R minimum means R XX. R is radius of gyration, right? So according to this section from the code, you can see all those dimensions, right? These all the dimensions are given in the code as per the selected channel section, right? So from this selected channel section, we get RXX is 118.8. So the slenderness ratio was 50.8. So initially we took 50 as an approximate value. Here also we can see we are getting somewhat near to it, and from that we get sigma AC as 131.2 megapascal, right? Now we need to calculate the spacing between the two columns, right? Just see this slide, right? This is column 1, this is column 2. So we need to calculate the spacing between these two columns, right? So the formula for calculating the spacing is this: Ixx equals to Iyy. You equate Ix equals to Iy, moment of inertia, okay? So Ix is by this formula, right? So this formula is S 180 mm. So you just now this is a requirement which was agreed by formula. Now it comes to design. We need to design. So step one is placing single axis incline 45 degrees. So this is the second step is to either given the code for the section. Right. So A is to be set to 80 L is 3 upon 10 theta. So 3 upon 10 45, that is 566. Currently we have 3 RC minimum, radius of variation minimum, each individual channel. That is RY by 20.1. What if you take as per this, consumption will be 21. Only if you lambda maximum was calculated earlier, it was 50.8. So the center ratio is for lacing bars. Okay, and earlier what we calculated lambda max was the overall lambda. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah. So this computed value should be less than this, and it is coming out to be 35.56. So it means it is okay, right? You can also see the code at clause number 5.7.6, right? Next step is effective length of lacing bar. You need to calculate the length of lacing bar. Lacing bar is L effective. I think we have calculated it earlier. This is L, right? L is 402. We have calculated this value earlier, right? Now step 5, using 20 mm dia rivets, sorry, for end connection. Minimum width of lacing bar will be 60 mm. Clause number this. You can read out this clause, right? So thickness will be calculated. Thickness should be greater than L by 40 for single lacing system. So it means the thickness of the bar should be 10 mm. Therefore, let us try. We calculated. We have taken lacing bar. The minimum width of lacing bar is 60 mm. Thickness we have calculated 20, right? So we have to try 60 into 10 mm flat bars and connected by 20 mm dia rivets, right? Now the minimum slenderness ratio is L root 12 upon T. All such values have been calculated earlier, right? So it is coming out to 138.6. That should be less than 145. It is also given in the clause 5.7.2.6. Student, you must read that code, and from that code only you will come to know about these clauses. Okay, and these are the requirements which need to be fulfilled for the calculation purpose. If these values are not satisfied, we have to revise the section. Okay. Now step 4, lambda of lacing, slenderness of lacing, that is 138.6, which we have calculated here. Now sigma AC. Now we need to calculate the stress. This is by interpolation formula. We would calculate the axial compressive stress in the lacing bar, right? Now the transfer shear. The transfer shear is denoted by V, and it is 2.5 times the axial force. Axial force was given 1000 kN earlier, hence the transfer shear force would be 2.5 upon 100 into 1000. That is 25 kN. It means the lacing bar should be designed for this much of shear force, okay, or transfer shear. The force on one lacing bar, there are two lacing bars. The force on one lacing bar will be F equals to V upon 2 sin theta. Sin theta was 45, so 25 upon 22 sin 45 equals to 17.69, right? Now the tensile stress on each bar would be calculated by this formula. There is force upon area, nothing different. Okay, force upon area. D is deducted for the dia of hole. So that will be 45.92, which is less than 145 MPa. Similarly, compressive stress would be calculated by the formula, which is 29.47, which is also less than 51.85. These are the maximum values which was calculated earlier in this video, right? Need to check for those things. Now the end connection. End connection means providing a rivet and connecting the lacing bars to the main members. So we have already discussed about the rivet values and how to calculate shear, wear, and tearing in the rivet. So there are just the formulas for calculating the rivet value. So in shear we have 36.3. In bearing we have 64.5. It means 36.3 is the rivet value, right? So the number of rivets required would be 2F cos theta on R. This cos theta, sin theta are trigonometric functions which are used because lacing bar we have triangular arrangement. You need to convert it into straight ones and accordingly convert it into sine of cos theta, right? So n would be approximately 1. It is something like that. See, this is triangular thing. Force is if you cos means vertically, and sine means you need to divide it in this way, right? So accordingly, you will see. Earlier we have seen one a value which is s plus 2g, means this is the gauge distance, right? And this is your s. So the overall s will be 143, 183, sorry. And this is the value of l, the length, the bigger length. Okay, not the lacing bar length. Lacing length is this. This is maybe you can call it spacing, right? We all have calculated this earlier, right? So accordingly, you see this like a is equal to s plus 2g. I'll show you where it is coming from. This is G. This is see. I was talking about this, right? So accordingly, you just see that last figure and get these values. This is very simple designing. Because you just need to read out the code